Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, nakamute kayo.
Okay, sir. So sorry. Mabuhay, Pangasinan Division 2, and also to our ELL and enthusiasts. But before we start the ball rolling, allow me to greet all the very important persons behind this very important endeavor. Our very knowledgeable Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Danilo C. Sison, to our very active and supportive OIC, Office of the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Wilfredo E. Sindayan, sir, and of course to his partner, the OIC, Office of the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Elln B. Casipit, to our very workaholic CID Chief, Sir Cornelio R. Aquino, and of course, the father-like SGOD Chief, Dr. Rosalino T. Agpalo Jr., to our very energetic and of course competent education program supervisors in charge of the different subject areas, not to forget our very charming and our very able EPS in charge of Filipino, as well as our division ELL and coordinator, Ma'am Annabel Emparel, to all our very competent and able public schools district supervisors, to my teammates in the technical division team, of course, the man behind our camera, Sir Rod Aquino and Sir Amorsolo Lacunsay, to our fellow school heads, fellow teachers, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to our second day of our ELLN Digital Division Orientation. Okay, today we are very, very fortunate because we have with us a very active and of course our very promising Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. But before that, allow me to first check our attendance by congressional district. Where are Oh, of course. Before I forget, let us have first our preliminaries. Sir Rod, Sir Amor, please. Okay, so as I have said, before we have our guest to give us inspirational message, let us have first the checking of attendance. Our participants can write comments on our chat box. So you can have there your names, your district, but may we have the participants from the 4th Congressional District? Kahit di namin kayo nakikita, just say, sa COVID-19, ako ay ligtas. So where are you? Participants from the 4th Congressional District, are you with us? You should be. How do we check the attendance? Okay, you just comment there on the chat box para alam namin kung talagang kayo ay nasa amin ngayong araw na ito because we have so much in store for you for this second day of our orientation. How about the participants from the 5th Congressional District? How do we know that you are with us? Wow, somebody said, good morning po from 4th District. Thank you so much, Sir Bernie Aquino. Okay, you can comment hashtag ELLN go 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 4th Congressional District or your please specify your district in our chat box. So again, I repeat, this comment in our chat box, hashtag ELLN go 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 Alcala District. Wow, so thank you so much, Sir Lyodi. Present daw siya from the 5th Congressional District. Okay, so we will just read your comments there at the chat box. Where are the participants from the 6th Congressional District? Wow, we have someone from Mangaldan 1. We have Madam Feli Paraino. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us. Okay. And so, as I have said earlier, we have with us our very active and very supportive OIC, Office of the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, to give us his inspirational message. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present to you Sir Wilfredo E. Sendayan. Sir?
Thank you so much, Dr. Childa G. Pangilinan, our very competent MC and facilitator. Of course, my greetings to our Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Danny Season, our two chiefs, Sir Cornel and Sir June Agpalo, our education program supervisors, special mention to Ma'am Annabel Parel, the in charge of Elln, our public schools district supervisors, our facilitators, the members of the technical working group, of course, our active participants in this training entitled Orientation on the Adoption of the Blended Learning Model ELN Digital Course, no, or training. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga. Na imbaga bigat kada tayo amin na po. Well, I said to Dr. Parel that instead of giving my message during the opening program, I asked her to, well, somehow meet you during in this second day of this worthwhile training. No, at the outset, we would like to express our thanks to our schools division superintendent for allowing us to have this training, and of course the entire CID team for um, coming up or conceptualizing this training for all of us in the partnership with the School Governance and Operations Division, particularly the its REDD unit. And I am happy to note that all are active in the various activities provided to you yesterday. And of course, we would like to also request the participants to continue your active participation um, until the third day, no, of this training, or until the last day of this training program. Well, I always believe on the importance of reading because the quality of education is largely dependent on the uh, performance, no, of our pupils in terms of reading, because as you know, parang atong reading ay tool, no, or entry to the other learning areas, no. I am very much elated for this opportunity to be with you today because, as I've said, during the past trainings of Mamparel, I was not able to join because of some important concerns before, no? Well, the education system or the quality of education is likened for me, no, likened to a building. And for a building or a structure for to be strong, it should be built on the strong foundation, no, for it not to be collapsed after several years. Like in the quality of education, as far as quality of education is concerned, it has to be built also on a strong foundation, no. The performance of our children as they progress to each grade level uh, is largely dependent also on the foundation, no. So clearly, this professional development course for our K to 3 teachers will help us all build that strong foundation for us to be able to have learners in the future ready to be facing the world, no. So I would like to encourage everyone to apply the insights or the learnings they are going to gain from this in their classroom, no? Be it virtual or be it blended uh, modality, ano? Kasi nga, ang training na ito, as I've said in the opening, ay sadyang napakahalaga para sa ating lahat, no? Uh, the situation we are in now is so much challenging, and unlike before, uh, we have that what we call yung face-to-face daily, no, face-to-face modality of instruction. But with the development of the ELN digital, pwede itong gawin, no. In fact, nauna na ito in blended modality of using the courseware, no, being developed by the Department of Education. Uh, as I've said, we are facing health situation na hindi natin pa na-try before, and the kind of approach as we face these challenges will vary depending on how we do it, ano. Like what I have read on the one of the social I mean the social media platform or media platforms, or one of the platforms I should say, na yung about the story of the potato, the egg, and the food coloring agent, no. When the potato is placed on a boiling water, nagiging malambot, no? While the egg, kapag nilagay sa boiling water, nagiging hard, or nagiging matigas siya. But once the food coloring agent is placed under the boiling water or in the boiling water, it will change the color of the boiling water. So, ibig sabihin, uh, when times get tough, who are we, no? Are we like a potato na nagiging malambot, or are we like the egg na nagiging matigas, or are we like the food coloring agent that it will change the complexion of the situation? So that's the challenge that I will be posing to you. Who are you in times of challenges like this? Are you a potato, or are you the egg, or are you the food coloring agent na it will change uh, the color of the water, no? With that, ladies and gentlemen, again, I express my congratulations to the organizing committee led by Dr. Parel with her CID family for this worthwhile training for all of us, no? So maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Ipagpatuloy natin ito sapagkat ito ay, sabi ko nga, napakahalaga sa pagtuturo ng mga bata. Maraming salamat at good morning sa ating lahat. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Sir Willie. Those words of inspiration are now our words of challenges. Oh, so mamimili na kayo. Mas gusto ko yung itlog kasi tumigas. Okay, side. Yesterday was a very fruitful and very productive day for all of us, with the brilliant ideas given by our very, very competent speakers we were enlightened as to what this ELL and digital course is all about. And we were also saddened by the PISA 2018 result. We do not like to look at the figures, but we would rather look at how can we help our learners improve their performance. And through this course, our stage 1 key teachers, our kinder to grade 3 teachers, I'm sure of that, will be empowered. They will be given so many learnings and strategies that they could apply once face-to-face will be there for our learners. Sabi nga ng ating USEC, Digna Ocampo, learning to read, write, and count are critical in the child's school success in school and in his later life. We cannot do that overnight. Kailangan natin talagang gawin lahat ng pwede natin gawin because these young minds will be the human force of the Philippines in the future. And also we learned so many things about how to implement the Slack and how we're going through with the modules of the courseware. Remember, we have modules 1 to 5, and it's like our LDM2 wherein no modules, no certificate. So you really have to finish the course. Anyway, it's all for your good and for the benefit of our learners. And so without much ado, allow me to present to you, and it's my very, very honor to present to you our very able and very charming education program supervisor in charge of Filipino, and of course, the coordinator of our ELLN. She's no other than the woman of the day, the hour, because she will be discussing so many things to us the whole day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm virtual applause to the woman of the day, no other than Madam Annabel M. Parel. Ma'am?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rich. Ayan,
Welcome,
yan ang
ma'am.
principal na forever rich. Oh, di
Wow,
ba?
thank you
Rich na
so much,
rich.
ma'am.
Okay, so sabi niya kanina, I am not the woman of the hour, but the woman of the day. Because you will be spending your day, your whole day with me. Ayan, I hope. Thank you very much, Ulyodi, for your virtual clap. I hope na hindi po kayo magsawa na ako ang nakikita ninyo at maririnig ninyo for the whole day. Now, bago natin simulan yung mga topics pa na pag-aaralan natin ngayon, we will be sharing some of the topics about the implementation of our ELN digital courseware. Let me share to you some of our participants' takeaways yesterday. Isa-isahin po muna namin. The reason why we asked you to answer the attendance sheet, the attendance link until 6 p.m. Dahil po, we are going to consolidate all your takeaways so that we can share them to you today before we start with all our activities for the day. Ayan. So let me share the slides. Ayan, ginawa namin ng presentation ng yung ating mga takeaways. Ano-ano nga ba yung mga natutuhan? Ano-ano nga ba yung mga hindi siya naka-video mode. Ayan, meron na po ba? Do we have the screen now? Okay. Balik muna tayo dun sa first. Ayan. So, I will be sharing to you ano-ano ba yung mga nabasa namin na natutuhan, naramdaman, mga baon after ng ating day 1. Alam nyo, natutuwa ako sa mga sagot ninyo. May mga, a lot of them are positive reply. Sana po And I know na yun po talaga yung inyong nararamdaman, yun po talaga yung inyong natutuhan kahapon, yun din po talaga ang inyong kaisipan kung ano po ang nangyari kahapon. So, ito po yun. Ayan. So, some of the school heads siguro or some of the teachers, yan, ang unang sinabi nila, the support given by the school head for luck. Ayan. So, we know that in our division, meron tayong mga schedules for luck. And our school heads are really doing their best to support and to give their full support for all our luck facilitators and our luck leaders in the school of the things na kakailanganin ng ating mga teachers for their professional development and in result for a better teaching learning process. Ayan. So number 1 na takeaway nila, support of the school head given for the implementation of the school's LAC session or LAC plan. Pangalawa, ayan, don't take ELLN as an additional burden, but rather think of the positive outcome that we can render to our pupils. Ayan, isang teacher ang nagsuggest niyan na nakita niya na hindi ito isang burden na nasa balikat ulit ng mga teacher, kundi ang iniisip niya ay para sa kabutihan ng ating mga end users, which are our learners or our pupils. Yan din po yung aming fear for having a lot of professional development programs and trainings for the teacher. Baka sabihin na ng ating mga guro, ayan na naman, trabaho na naman. But if you're going to look at it in a positive way, we are helping each other. These are part of our technical assistance that we can provide, that we can provide our schools, our school heads, and our teachers for the improvement of teaching and learning outcome. Ayan. So, maraming salamat sa takeaway na yan. Another? Ayan, we should use simple, not complex words in completing our assignments and tasks in the ELLN course because it is for the benefit of our learners. Okay. Tama. Why are we doing all these things? Of course, we would like to capacitate all our teachers so that they can provide and give the best for our learners. Sabi nga niya, hindi kailangan na high caliber na mga words ang gamitin mo. Why make simple things into complex? Bakit mo gagawin ang isang simpleng bagay ay gawin mo masyadong mahirap o komplikado, di ba? Why can you not make it into more simple? Ayan. Pang-apat, understand adaptive learning as the framework and process for monitoring, evaluation, and improvement. Later on, mapag-uusapan pa natin of what is adaptive learning in the digital ELN. Okay, thank you very much. Another takeaway, the pandemic has limited our way of teaching our young learners, but we could jump into different strategies on how to make the ends meet and to educate our learners continuously. Okay, tama. Kaya nga po ginagawa natin ang mga paraan na ito dahil alam natin walang pandemic ang makakapigil sa pagpapatuloy ng dekalidad na edukasyon. Kaya ginagawa po natin ang lahat ng paraan, ang lahat ng strategy na kakayanin natin, ang lahat ng resources na meron tayo upang maihatid pa rin natin ang edukasyon, patuloy na edukasyon ng ating mga mag-aaral. Okay, another takeaway, accomplish your assignments prior to the LAC session. Opo. Bago po kayo mag-meet ng inyong LAC FASI, dapat you have already read the modules, naka-ready na po kayo, okay na ang mga assignments, para sharing na lang on the next session, on the sessions na magkakaroon kayo with your LAC tasking. Okay, mga magagandang takeaways. Another takeaway, ayan. Continuous learning by attending seminars is a great help, especially for primary teachers to be able to become effective and efficient. Yun naman po kasi ang pinaka-goal namin, to help you, our fellow teachers, to continuously develop professionally. Okay, organizing LAC cannot have more than 15 members and could be made up if teachers teaching the same grade level. Ito po yung pagkakaiba ng inset sa LAC. 15 lang po, maximum of 15 lang po ang ating miyembro ng isang LAC session or LAC group. Okay? Familiar na po kayo dyan kasi we've already had our LDN, di ba? Okay. Ayan. Parang last slide na yata ito. May isa pa. So the student's performance will speak the kind of school you have. Yeah, oo. Kasi ito yung nagpapakita ng result ng ating mga ginawa. Di ba? Okay? Natuwa din ako dito sa isang takeaway na ito, yung NA. Di ba? This will also give us a feedback of how the teachers, how are the teachers, ano yung pakiramdam ng mga teachers ngayon when it comes to having these online sessions, online trainings and workshop. Very significant po yung NA na yan kasi it will give us a feedback na really a lot of our teachers, may mga teachers tayo na nangangailangan din ng technical assistance. Wake-up call po para sa amin yan, yung NA na yan. So, in-include ko siya. Another, the school head should be the one preparing the LAC session and all the expenses shall be covered by the MOOE. Kaya nga po kailangan, meron po kayong LAC plan at naisasama po ito dapat sa inyong mga APP and SIP at saka ang inyong AIP upang lahat po ng mga programa at proyekto sa paaralan kasama po ang professional development, which will be also funded by our MOOE. Materials needed, support needed when it comes to finances. Of course, our school head should be leading the planning of our LAC sessions. Okay, maraming salamat sa takeaway na iyan. Ayan, last na pala yun na ilan sa mga nakita namin na may mga mas maraming ganon takeaways of yesterday's session. So, paalala lang po natin, ang ating orientation po ngayon ay magkakaroon po ng 3 days na workshop, and this workshop ay magkakaroon po ng mga outputs bawat eskwelahan. So, magkakaroon lang po tayo ng certificate upon the submission of our attendance and our output. Okay. So, natuwa po ako sa nakaraming positive na takeaways na share po ng ating mga teachers, ng ating mga school heads. Ayan. Nag-decide po akong magtanggal ng face mask kasi kung makikita ninyo, mag-isa lang po ako dito sa area na ito. Okay, so maraming salamat po. I hope meron pa rin po kayong mga takeaways for today and mga takeaways pa rin po on the succeeding days of our orientation workshop. Okay? So before we start with our first topic for today, can we have a 5-minute break? Bigyan ko muna kayo ng 5 minuto na pumunta for sa banyo, magkape, mag-sip ng tubig or anything, coffee. Ayan, bago po tayo sumalang para sa unang-una nating paksa sa umagang ito. So thank you very much for all your positive, negative takeaways. All of this will be a positive feedback for all of us to make us to plan for a better professional development programs for all our teachers and school heads. Okay? Can we have 5-minute break, Sir Rod? Thank you very much. Okay, ayan, we are back. Ay, nakalimutan ko aking camera to open. Okay, so we are back. Naririnig na po ba ako? Okay, pwede pong mag-chat. Kung ako po ay naririnig, clear, and when I am back. Okay. Nagpa 5-minute break ako dahil ako pala ay nagnanais na pumunta sa restroom. Okay, so Sir Rod gave me a cue na nakabalik na ako. Okay, so allow me to share my screen. Okay po, clear. Maraming salamat. Opo, loud and clear. Sandali, hindi pa pala naka-open yung aking slide. Okay, ayan, maraming salamat. Ito yung nakaka-nervyos sa online, ano? Bukod sa we are fighting for or we are thinking of the internet signal, we are also thinking of the power, di ba? Meron na po ba tayong naka-share na po ba ang aking screen? Yan, naku, hindi ko na nakikita ang ating mga participants. Kuha ako ng isa pang dahil napakalaga sa akin ay napakahalaga sa akin yung yung pag-ano ng ating mga participants, yung kanilang nakalimutan kong i-on itong isang aking okay, so ayan. So, we are going to have our second day of our orientation on the implementation of our ELLN digital. So our first topic for this morning is ELLN digital scale up implementation planning. Alam ko po na kahapon ay napakarami po ninyong mga katanungan. Paano kaya natin i-implement? Ngayon na ba? May mga nagtatanong pa, kailan po isa-submit ang LAC proposal? Sabi ko, aba, napaka-excited naman nila. Gusto nila talaga kaagad na mai-submit ang mga LAC proposals ng bawat eskwelahan. Okay. So, since we are having the orientation for today, we are going to have it by process. Iisa-isahin po muna natin. At gusto ko rin po palang i-emphasize, kasi po, with the videos na napanood po natin kahapon, nasabi po doon at nabanggit po doon na we are having this digital ELLN for some CPD units. Ngayon po ay hindi pa po natin ito nailakad sa PRC, kung kaya't itinuloy pa rin natin ang orientation natin for ELLN digital, but for the purpose of a part of our professional development of our teachers, especially our K-3 teachers. So, wala po tayong CPD units approved by the PRC, ngunit magkakaroon po ang bawat guro na makakatapos ng Module 1 to 5 of a completion certificate. Nag-uusapan po namin yan ng ating division TA provider led by our CID and of course, recommended by our two ASDSs with the approval of our very kind Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Danny. We are going to suggest our plan for this completion, certificate of completion for all our teachers. Okay, Paano nga ba ito? Elln Scale-Up Implementation Cycles. Tignan niyo, napakahaba. Meron tayong, ito yung pinapakita niyang timeline for modules 1 to 5. Meron tayong batch A, B, or C on the schools na mayroon mas marami pang mga untrained teachers on ELLN. Magkakaroon po sila ng batch A, batch B, batch C. Pero kung konti lang po, then we can have one batch only. And itong timeline po na ito na pinapakita ay masyadong mahaba. Ito po kasi pinapakita na ito, suggestion na scale-up implementation cycle na ito ay with the CPD units per year na pwedeng magamit sana ni teacher for renewal of license. Pero just the same, sa mga trainings natin for professional development, pwede pa rin naman po natin magamit ang ating Certificate of Participation. So, modules 1 to 2, 3 and 4, and module 5, tulad na nasabi kahapon sa mga videos, the teacher will learn and matututuhan ni teacher ang modules 1 to 5 sa sarili niyang schedule, sa sarili niyang time schedule, kung gaano siya kabilis na matapos, kung gaano niya nasa kanyang tawag nito, nasa kanyang mga kamay yung schedule, matatapos niya kaagad-agad ang modules 1 to 5 and all the lessons included in each module. Okay. Now, sabi natin kanina, we are going to have this digital ELLN in a process. Hindi agad-agad na magsasubmit na ng lock plan, ito na ang gagawin. May mga pre-implementation stage activities pa po tayo na kailangan gawin. Una-una, narinig nyo naman po kahapon, let us see kung ano-anong mga materials ang meron na tayo for the implementation of this digital ELLN. Do we have the courseware? Do we have the books? Do we have the materials and others? Okay, so ito muna yung mga gagawin on the pre-implementation stage. Now, ano ba yung ating vision? Bakit shared vision? Diba? Bakit hindi lang vision ni teacher? Bakit hindi lang vision ni school head? But it is a shared vision. We all know that meron nga tayong laging naririnig na kasabihan na it takes a village to raise a child. Diba? Hindi lamang nakasalalay sa nanay, sa tatay, ang pag-raise ng kanyang anak. So, ganun din yung pag-raise natin ng ating mga learners when it comes to their education. So, hindi na lamang ito nakasalalay sa ating mga guro, sa eskwelahan. Lalong-lalo na ngayong pandemic, di ba? Yun yung isang natutuhan natin with the onset of the pandemic na dahil pandemic, nakita natin yung kahalagahan ng tulungan ng bawat isa upang maihatid pa rin natin at may pagpatuloy pa rin natin ang pag-aaral ng ating mga mag-aaral o ng ating mga learners. So, it's a shared between the teacher, the school head, the school, the division, the region, and of course, the central office, our Department of Education, and all other stakeholders na kasama natin in developing a better and educated learner, a functionally literate learner. So, shared vision. So, ito nga, literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem. Since nasabi natin kanina na it is a shared vision na hindi lang vision ni teacher, kundi magkakaroon tayo ng literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem. Pag sinabi natin sa science, ito yung, diba, all the triggers, all the individuals, all the plants, the animals, living together in an ecosystem, working together, and benefiting from each other. So, tayo, in, in the school system, we are going also to create a literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem wherein ang bawat isa ay may naihahandog na tulong o suporta. Ang bawat isa sa community, sa education community ng bata ay may ambag upang maihatid natin ang mas maayos, mas mabuti, de kalidad na edukasyon para sa ating mga learners. So we need to work together in creating that literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem, wherein our main benefactor are our learners, our main client, the main user of this created learning literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem are our learners. Now, what are the factors that may affect the learning process of our learners? Una, let us look at the classroom. Diba? Grade level, sinabi nga natin kahapon, the key stage 1 learners and teachers provides the basic foundation. So dahil tayo ay nasa basic foundation, kailangan natin itong palakasin at patatagin. Okay, tignan natin ang class size. Masyado bang marami? Okay, kailangan ba natin hatiin? Do we have heterogeneous or homogeneous sessioning? So nakaka-apekto rin yan sa pagkatuto ng ating mga mag-aaral. The student characteristics, of course, are there the inclusive of children with additional needs. Ngayon po, lagi na po ini-emphasize na inclusive na po ang ating education. We cater to all types of learners. And kahit yung mga may special needs, we cater to them all. Okay? The teacher competencies, ayan, tignan din po natin yan. Kaya nga po, meron tayong mga gawain na ganito upang mas lalo pang mapaunlad din ang kakayahan ni teacher para makapagturo para sa ating mga learners. The languages used. Kaya very crucial din po ang ating mother tongue and bridging of the 3 languages from language 1 to 2 and to 3. The physical environment, the facilities na meron tayo sa paaralan, na meron ang mga learners natin sa kanilang bahay, the learning resources that are available inside the classroom. Okay? So part of the ecosystem are our classrooms. The school, ayan po, the school type, small, medium, large, mega, okay? The school vision and leadership. Ano ba yung tinatahak na daan ng bawat eskwelahan? School governance and management. Of course, the funding, class scheduling, masyado po bang maraming shifting of classes, loads ng mga teacher, extracurricular activities that we have in the school, professional development opportunities of the teachers. Are we providing them enough and quality opportunities? Instructional support and supervision of the school head, of the school managers, of our PSDSS, our supervisors. Performance assessment of the students and the teachers. And of course, the parent and community expectations. So napakaraming factor na titignan natin in this literacy and numeracy learning ecosystem na bubuuin natin. Of course, ang ating DepEd system, from the national, to the region, to the division. Alam po ba natin ang ating development goals, national development goals, ang ating mga educational vision and leadership na kung saan Lahat po yan ay nagiging nakaangkla ang bawat eskwelahan dyan sa ating national educational vision and leadership. Our curriculum standards, nakakamit po ba natin ito? Our operational procedures, the policy and regulatory requirements, education financing, napakarami po infrastructure development, the learning resource development and operations, the education governance and management, the continuing professional development, technical assistance and supervision provided to us from the national to the region, to the division, down to the schools. Instructional support and supervision and quality assurance of materials provided to all our schools. So yan po yung maihahatid po sa atin ng ating Department of Education system. Okay, meron din po tayo mga stakeholders dahil sila po ang ating mga partners in raising and educating our learners. So our other government agencies, meron tayong mga private sector, academic and training institutions, our NGOs, multilateral organization, foreign governments, and donor agencies. Kung makikita po ninyo ang ating digital Elln ay inihati po sa atin ito ng tulong mula sa mga foreign governments and agencies. Okay. Yan. So our shared vision for prioritizing Elln and digital is, ito po, every child should be literate and numeric. So wala pong isang bata na maiiwan. Dapat po lahat ng ating mga learners, di nasa school man, lahat po ng bata ay kailangan po natin maturuan na maging functionally literate and numerate. So, this will be our shared vision from our regional director and other key officials down to the parents and the communities. So, ito po yung pinaka-vision ng ating digital Elln. Lahat ng bata ay nakakabasa at nakakabilang. So, from the region to the division, the district focal points, to the school heads, teachers, and our parents and community. Now, how are we going to foster the shared vision for Elln across your district and within your school? Paano po kaya natin ito share? Okay, maisasagawa. Can we have some of the comments sa ating chat box? Ano po yung mga nakikita ninyo na paraan kung paano natin ito maibabahagi ang ating shared vision within our district and within our school. Can we have some of the sharings? Yeah. Paano kaya ako makakapagbasa ng mga sharing nila? Okay? Meron po ba tayong mga sagot dyan mula sa ating mga schools, mula sa ating mga teachers, sa ating mga school heads, and how will you foster a shared vision for the Elln within your school or across your district? Okay. I'm trying to read some. Ayan, work hand in hand with the parents. Okay? Thank you very much, Ma'am Jemima Soliano. Paano pa po? Paano tayo makakapag collaborative work with our parents? Okay? Can we have other answers? Other sharing from other school heads? Yan. Meron pa po ba tayong mga other sharing? Discuss during staff meetings. Opo, tama. So, pwede kayo magkaroon ng conferences with the groups, with your stakeholders, with the teachers, di ba? So that we can share to them our vision on the Elln. Discussions during staff meetings. Thank you very much, Ma'am Joy Sarmiento. What else? Ano pa po ang pwede natin gawin so that we can nandiyan po ako ng mga sagot. Good rapport to our stakeholders. Thank you very much, Sir Rene Sanchez. Okay. So still waiting for some of the answers of the some of the sharings sa ating mga kasama online. Meron pa ba? Collaboration with parents and teachers in the school. Okay. So, yun naman po ay galing kay Ma'am Rowena Acosta. Siguro we will be reading more of your answers later on how we can foster a shared vision for ELN across our district and within your school. Collaboration effort of the school, parents, stakeholders, and the community by Sir Jonas Bautista. Thank you very much, sir. Embrace, involve all stakeholders in planning. Thank you very much, Sir Jimmy. Ayan, thank you very much sa ating PSDS na kasama natin ngayon. Giving extra activities online class for learners who have difficulties. Okay po, salamat Ma'am Giselle. Ma'am Monette, we have worked collaboratively with parents, teachers, collaboration with co-teachers and parents through the guidance of the school head from Ma'am Marlene Del Rosario. Ang ating magaling na contextualizer ng Ilocano. From Ma'am Jean, ayan, di ko nabasa. Kay Ma'am Nora Morla, implement what we have learned in this training. Maraming salamat po. Alam nyo, sayang po ang mga trainings natin kung hindi po natin ito na isasadyawa at na ipapakita sa ating mga paaralan. From Sir Lodi, in order to foster the shared vision for ELN within the school, there must be a sustainability monitoring and work harmoniously with our teachers and parents, tapping the stakeholders support to. Thank you very much, Sir Lodi. From Sir Bernie Aquino, shared responsibility to develop, ay, ang bilis. Implement what we have learned in this training. Yung kay Sir Bernie, hindi po palabasa. Ay, wala na. Sir Lodi, ayan, nabasa ko na po ito. Tapping the stakeholders support also. Okay? From Ma'am Jean, meron ako dito kay Ma'am Jean Oclaray, embrace the shared vision for the betterment of our pupils, especially during this pandemic. Share responsibility to develop our learners through the creation of block sessions and walk through it. Okay. Tama po, Sir Bernie. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng inyong mga kasagutan. Ayan. So far, so that we can foster the shared vision within and all of our key players in the school. Kaya nga sabi ninyo, kailangan natin i-discuss ito sa kanila, ipahatid ito sa kanila, ano ba yung gusto natin mangyari sa kanila, plan with them so that this shared vision will have a shared realization also with all our stakeholders. Together with our classroom PT officers, we can share our vision through Google Meet. Yes, dahil hindi na natin sila nakikita ngayon face-to-face because of our situation, hindi niya ito mapipigilan upang ipahatid pa rin natin ang pangangailangan ng ating mga learners in all types of strategies. Through trainings, block sessions, and orientation to the parents and stakeholders, ayan, bilis. Proper implementation of the project by the teachers, school heads, and the district. Makakaasa rin po kayo. We intensified also the implementation of our Brigada Pagbasa. Thank you very much, Ma'am Esther. Makakaasa rin po kayo ng monitoring, constant monitoring also and evaluation of our program for Elln. Para po nakikita natin na ano yung mga mabubuti at ipagpapatuloy natin, ano yung mga hindi natin, dapat natin tigilan na with our implementation of this Elln. So what went wrong and what went well, yun ang ating maisasagawa. Establish the rapport to our stakeholders. Okay. So alam ko, marami pa po kayong mga paraan on how we can share or foster this vision within our school. Okay. So, sabi nga natin kanina, we are doing all this to provide a continuous professional development for our teachers. Now, meron pong kalakip na TSNA questionnaire ang ating file of Elln Digital. This is Teacher Strengths and Needs Assessment Questionnaire, which is available dito sa ating file na ito. Anyway, kahit hindi nyo na po i-browse yan, site na yan, we will provide you with a drive na nandun na po yung mga pwede natin gamitin for our implementation. Now, this questionnaire is a self-assessment tool on the topics covered by Elln Digital Course. Yan. The use of this is optional, sabi naman. Pwede hindi gamitin, pwede naman gamitin. It's up to the division to decide if they want to use this instrument to profile their teachers and how they will use the profile data. Alam niyo po, binasa ko po itong TSNA questionnaire. Nakita ko po na malaking tulong po ito in the provision of technical assistance of the school head as well as the supervisors who are our partners in the curriculum implementation, and also our partners also in the provision of professional development of our teachers. This questionnaire, kung honestly answered by our teachers, will provide us with data on what the teacher already has learned or ano na yung kaya niyang gawin at ano pa yung mga bagay na kailangan niya ng technical assistance at kailangan niya ng tulong. So, I decided that we are going to use this questionnaire as part of our data collection in profiling of our teachers' needs, teachers' strengths and needs, so that we can provide for appropriate professional development plan in each schools and in our division. Ayan. So, let me share you first yung ating TSNA sandali. Stop sharing ko muna. And then, I will share my other slide on the TSNA questionnaire. Parang just a pick of the questionnaire. Baka sa tingin ko ay makakatulong ito in gathering data. Ayan. So, nakapag-share na po ba ako ng screen? Okay, so this is the Elln Digital Teachers Strengths and Need Assessment Questionnaire. Okay, so this teacher self-assessment tool presents items referring to various aspects of teaching early literacy and numeracy. So read each item carefully and give your honest assessment of how familiar you are with this aspect of early literacy and numeracy instruction by teaching one of the following ratings. So, nasa ating tool ang mga early literacy and numeracy skills. Kung ano yung familiar ka dyan, you're going to tick 1, completely unfamiliar, 2, mostly unfamiliar, 3, slightly unfamiliar, 4, slightly familiar, 5, mostly familiar, and 6, completely familiar. Okay, so if you pick 6, malamang ikaw ay already trained on ELLN. Kaya alam mo na yung mga skills na yan. Remember, this is an honest assessment of how familiar you are with the literacy and numeracy instruction or skills. So, hindi ito right or wrong answer. Wala pong tama, wala pong maling sagot. Dahil hindi naman po ito assessment on how you teach. Diba? It is not an assessment of teaching performance. But this is your self-assessment of the early literacy and numeracy instruction. So yan, the continuum of children's literacy development as they progress through various phases of learning to read and write. Actually, this is a 47 items. Naging 50 siya, ay 48 items. Naging 50 siya kasi meron tayong name and date. Date and name pala. Ayan. 50 items siya. Madali lang naman. Basahin mabuti para alam din ni school head na, itong area na ito, how to organize writing workshop, hindi pa nila masyadong gamay na natututuhan. So, kailangan tayong mag-lock session on this area. Ganun lang naman po. Yan. Meaning of differentiated instruction. Unfamiliar sa aking mga K-3 teachers. So, I have to have a plan, lock plan on the differentiated instructions. Di ba? So, these are a helpful tool for us to provide better and planned lock sessions and professional development program for our teachers. Okay, so nakalagay po dito, this test is made possible by the generous support of the USAID. And the content of this test are the sole responsibility of Foundation of Information Technology, Education and Development Incorporated or the FIT-ED. Kaya hindi po ito maaaring ipamigay outside DepEd. Sa atin lang po ito. Sa ating mga bureau lang po ito. And do not necessarily reflect the views of the USAID or the United States government. Okay. So, nakita ko po na maganda yung nilaman nitong PSA na ito. Hindi po ito tahira sa ating mga bureau. Hindi po ito dagdag na tama sa kanilang IPCRF, baka sabihin, naku, IPCRF na naman na yan. Mga ganon. So, that will aid us in the planning for better professional development program for our teachers in the school as well as in the division for our K to 3 teachers. Okay. So we go back to my previous slide. Okay. Time check. 10:55. Mahaba pang oras. Balik tayo sa ating slides kanina. So, ano kaya ang masasabi ng ating mga guro sa ipinakita kong Q&A questionnaire? Okay lang po na makabasa ako ng negative feedback because that will be a positive feedback for me. Para alam ko po ang nararamdaman ng ating mga kajuruan sa field so that we can provide easy and teacher-friendly, school-friendly development, professional development plan for our teachers. Okay. Siguro wala naman comments or other feedback. Okay lang po. Okay lang po kayo back ng nega or positive. Okay, so let's go on with our orientation. We go to the Elln digital driver diagram. Okay. So ano nga ba itong digital Elln digital courseware na ito? So it has 4 components. Meron po siya 4 components. Okay. So this Elln digital driver diagram has 4 components. Okay. So when we say a diagram, it is a visualization of what contributes to achieving the aim of a project. So it has 4 components: the aim, the primary drivers, the secondary drivers, and the change ideas or the problems and the solution. Of course, the aim is the project goal. What will be our main objective? The primary drivers are the key factors that will contribute to achieving our aim or our project goal. The second drivers are the components of the primary drivers, which are the SMART objectives. So when we say SMART objectives, very familiar na dyan ang ating mga school heads at ating mga teachers. Pag sinabi natin SMART, make it specific, measurable, attainable, ano yung R? Parang nakalimutan ko yung R. Yung T is time-bound. Okay? So, SMART objectives. So, change ideas or problem solution is another driver. So, changes you need to make your current situation or ano yung mga nakikita ninyong problems and solution to the problems that may arise in order to achieve our SMART objectives. Ano yung mga nakikita natin, naranasan natin na mga problems, and what will be a specific solution for that problem. Okay, so this is the representation of our Elln digital pre-implementation driver diagram. So, nandyan na po yung 4 na components ng ating driver. The first is the aim, which is ano yung aim natin for this implementation of the Elln digital. 100% completion of Elln digital in all schools in our division. Ayan, no? 100%. Wow. and it will be possible. Okay. And then our primary drivers, what are the factors that may affect the attainment of our goal, or project, our aim? So of course, we have there the 4 factors: the resourcing, the administrative support, the learner attitudes and practices, and the learner support. Okay. Under the secondary driver, sabi natin kanina, these are our SMART objectives. Ayan, may nag-comment sa akin, ba't hindi daw nakakapasok ng kanyang comment. Okay. So under the secondary driver, sabi natin kanina, these are the SMART objectives for each of our primary drivers in our second component. Meron tayong resourcing, administrative support, learner attitudes and practice, and learner support. So on this, these are some of the samples of our SMART objectives under resourcing. So ano na itong mga to? 100% of K-3 teachers have a copy of the Courseware. It is reiterated yesterday sa mga videos na napanood natin na dapat po lahat ng mga guro natin, before we start with the Elln digital implementation, meron na po silang copy of the Courseware. 100%. Okay? 100% of the K-3 teachers have access to computers at school or maybe at home. Siguro naman meron na po tayong mga laptops ngayon. Because this area, ito po yung naging primary na pangangailangan natin. So 100% also of our K-2 teachers and LAC facilitators are provided with printed course materials. These materials are found in the Courseware na pwede pong i-print ng bawat eskwelahan. Okay? 100% of the K-3 teachers access to books. Yung mga storybooks po na naipakita kahapon. Na 5 titles. Technical support available to 100% of the K-3 teachers when needed. And also, 100% of block sessions with venue. Ayan, siguro ngayon, hindi na tayo mahihirapan sa venue dahil kahit hindi tayo magkita-kita or magkita-kita man tayo, 3 lang kayo or 4 lang kayo, pwede na kayo sa library or pwede na online. So, yan, meron tayong available venue. 100% of the K-3 teachers will be given sufficient time for Elln digital. That would rely on sa usapan ng ating mga LAC facies together with our K-3 teachers. And on the fourth column, fourth components, which is the change ideas or the solutions to the problems, below are some of the examples only for illustration purposes. Pwede po kayong maglagay dyan ng sarili ninyo na mga change ideas or solution to each attainment of our SMART objectives. So doon sa unang objective natin kanina, coordinate with division for copying of the Courseware. Okay na yan. So we will provide you with the Courseware. Schedule group viewings of the Courseware. Okay, sa inyo po yan. Outsource printing to be charged to MOOE. Coordinate with division to purchase storybooks. Yes, we will help you with that. Recruit student assistants to support the ICT coordinator. Yan, yes. These are all only examples po. You can provide for your own change ideas or solutions to each of these attainment of our SMART objectives. Let's go to other primary drivers natin. Ayan. Under administrative support, what are our SMART objectives? 100% of school heads commit to implementing Elln digital effectively. Alam ko yan, 100% yan sa mga school heads natin. 100% of school heads will create the necessary policies and guidelines, including rewards and incentives to support ELLN digital implementation. Alam niyo po, masyadong mayaman ang kaisipan ng ating mga school heads in the provision of rewards and incentives to all our teachers. Alam ko na meron silang mailalagay dyan na solution. 100% of our school heads will ensure the provision of our required resources for effective ELLN digital implementation. Ayan. Niwala po ako dyan. 100% of our school heads will observe every LAC in their school at least once a month. O, yan po ha, mga mahal namin school head, at least once a month. O, nakaka-join kayo sa mga LAC session about the implementation of our digital ELLN. Okay. For the learner attitudes and practice, okay, ano naman ina-expect natin for our teachers? So this is our SMART objective. 100% of our K-3 teachers commit to dedicating at least 13 hours a month to complete all of the requirements of ELLN digital through self-study, LAC sessions, classroom practice. Ayan, so nandiyan na yung mga oras na pwede natin gugulin in a month. Okay. O, diba? Sabi niya, 13 hours in a month. Pero alam ko, very excited yung ating mga teachers. Baka 13 hours na yan, baka more than pa ang gawin nila. Because nakikita ko, our teachers are so dedicated and passionate in the performance of their duty as a teacher. Now, for our learner support, 100% of LAC facilitators are fully capacitated to fulfill their role in ELLN digital implementation. I know that the school heads will provide the appropriate, will choose the appropriate LAC FASI in all their LAC sessions, in all their LAC groups in the schools. 100% of technical assistance providers in the division are fully capacitated to provide coaching on ELLN. Ayan. Kaya nga po ang kasama natin sa TA providers composition ng ating division ay mga ELLN trainers din. So I know that they can provide technical assistance to all our schools. 100% also of our K-3 teachers can be provided with technical assistance by fully capacitated technical assistance providers from the division during the ELLN digital implementation. We'll give you our 101% provision of assistance. Nandun sa solution. Okay. So, on the change ideas, hindi na po tayo naglagay doon because yung kanina nilagay doon are just samples. So, each schools, each LAC leaders shall provide with the solutions for the attainment of all these SMART objectives. Ayan. Okay, so now, ELLN Digital Readiness Assessment. Ano ba itong, so kahapon nga, maraming nag-comment sa ating comment box na kailan isasubmit ang LAC plan. Ang iniisip na kaagad ay yung paano gagawin yung lock plan, yung lock proposal. Sabi ko, naku, excited ang ating mga school heads, excited yung ating mga teachers. So it is a positive feedback na talagang lahat ng ating mga kasama ngayon sa araw na ito ay talaga naman na nakatutok at nais talagang madagdagan yung ating kaalaman kung paano tayo makapagbigay ng mas maayos na professional development plan sa ating mga guro. So, sabi ko nga po kahapon at kanina, we will follow a process. So, unahin po muna natin itong digital, Elln Digital Readiness Assessment. Ilan po ba sa mga teachers ang ready na? Ilang mga schools sa ating division ang ready na to implement right away this Elln digital program or project. Now, ano nga ba ito? Paano ba ito? Readiness assessment. Okay. So, we are going to have two types of readiness assessment. One is for each of the schools and of course, para rin sa ating division. So, this orientation is a part of the readiness assessment. Kaya last year, may mga nakausap akong coordinators natin that we go on with our Elln digital implementation, pero hindi po ito naging fully implemented dahil wala pa po tayong orientation noon. Hindi pa ito. So, nagkaroon lamang yung mga school heads natin ng self-study on the implementation of this Elln digital. But now, ito take off na natin. We start with our take off with this orientation. So, we start with the readiness assessment. So, all schools shall have their school readiness assessment, which will be conducted by our school head. With the help of other administrative staff, of course, our ICT coordinator, and together with our K-3 teachers. Ayan. Pasensya na po sa aking boses, ha. Ito po ang isa sa aking mga disability. Ako po ay person with disability. Hindi nakakapagsalita ng mas clear and normal, just like you. Kaya there are times na nafe-fail yung intelligibility or yung madaling naiintindihan yung aking pagsasalita. Kaya mag-message lang po kayo kung ma'am, hindi ko na po kayo naiintindihan para mabayalan ko po ng konti. Okay. So, after the school readiness assessment na gagawin ni school head kasama ang mga teachers, doon po nila makikita ilang mga teachers na ang ready for the implementation of this program. Is the school ready? So, kukunin ko po lahat ng assessment na yan so that I can also see and makita ko rin na 30% of the schools in the division are ready. Or ilang percentage na ba? Ilang mga eskwelahan na ba ang ready for the implementation? We are going to have also the division readiness assessment for us, technical assistance providers. Kailangan din po namin mag-conduct ng readiness assessment. Kaya na ba namin magbigay ng technical assistance? Of course, led by our division CID chief and assisted by yours truly, your division Elln coordinator, together with our division technical assistance providers na pinakilala ko sa inyo kahapon, kasama ang lahat po ng CID family, ang ating mga supervisors, ang ating mga education supervisors, together with our public schools district supervisors. So, magkakaroon din po kami ng readiness assessment on that matter. Okay. Ayan. So ano ba ang purpose ng school readiness assessment? Why are we going to have this school readiness and division readiness assessment? So, to determine how many and who among the K-3 teachers in the school are ready for and should be allowed to take the Elln digital course. Ilan ba? Kung meron tayong 6, baka 3 lang ang ready. So, sila lang muna sa batch A. And then, those 3 that are not ready will follow for batch 2. Okay. Kung masyado naman kayong marami at hindi kakayanin ng resources, kaya po tayo doon sa implementation plan presented kanina, meron tayong batch A, batch B, batch C, and so on. Until we achieve the 100% readiness and implementation of this Elln digital. For the division readiness assessment, to determine for how K-3 teachers and which schools also the division can provide the necessary technical assistance as these teachers are taking the Elln digital course. So, bawat isa sa amin na technical assistance providers, ilan naman ang kaya namin? Ilan teachers naman ang kaya namin to provide for technical assistance? Ilan schools ang kaya ng bawat TA provider ang maka-cater niya, matutulungan niya in the provision of technical assistance in the implementation of this Elln digital course. So our goal, the school, the teachers, and the division is to achieve 100% readiness for Elln digital. Wait! Huwag po kayong maloka. Sabi, achieve 100%. Hala, 100%. Hindi po natin ito gagawin ng isang buwan lang, ng isang 2 buwan lang, ng isang week lang. This is dire-diretso po ito, mga kasama. Kaya wag po kayong maloka, wag po kayong malurky. Nasasabi nyo, ay, trabaho na naman yan. Hindi po. We will do it one at a time until we reach that 100% readiness and full implementation of our Elln digital. Okay po? Okay. So, under the school readiness assessment criteria, there are 14 school readiness assessment criteria. These criteria are based on the secondary drivers that is already presented in the driver diagram that pertain to the K-3 teachers, the LAC facilitators, and the school head. Yun po under the primary driver. Maalala nyo po yun? The resourcing, the administrative support, the learner, and the learner support. Yun po yun. Ang 14 readiness assessment criteria ay nakalapat po sa apat na factor of the primary driver as presented in the driver diagram a while ago. Okay. The division readiness assessment criteria for technical assistance provision. The division must also do an assessment of its readiness to provide technical assistance to its teachers during the Elln digital implementation. So there are 2 readiness assessment criteria on the secondary drivers in the driver diagram. pertaining to technical assistance providers under the primary driver learner support. Kung maalala nyo po kanina nung present natin yung driver diagram, under the primary driver of learner support, meron po tayo doon SMART objectives pertaining to the provision of technical assistance. So, yun naman po yung ating readiness assessment to the division, for the division, technical assistance providers. Okay. And, very important rule. Tatandaan po natin. In order to give your K-3 teachers the best chance to successfully complete Elln Digital, hindi lang po per se na implementation po ito ha, kasi nangangailangan po talaga ito na dapat ma-develop natin, makapacitate natin ang mga teachers natin. And be able to master the concepts and strategies covered by the course, only those K-3 teachers who are ready, ayan, should be allowed to take the Elln Digital. Huwag po natin pilitin kung hindi pa sila ready. Physically, financially, emotionally, yung mga ganon, Example, they personally meet and can be provided by the school with the 14 readiness requirements listed in the School Readiness Assessment Tool. Kung lahat ng K-3 natin ay na-meet yung 14 na criteria, then they are ready to take and they can successfully complete the Elln Digital course. Ayan. Okay? Huwag po kayo mag-alala. Hindi po isang taon lang ito na implementation. Patuloy po ito. Bakit? Taon-taon po ay nagkakaroon tayo ng bagong teacher. Baka naman nilagay niyo ulit sila sa key stage 1. Then, we need to capacitate our teacher. We need to provide them a professional development plan for their professional development. Kaya continuous po ito. That's why all the materials will be provided to you. Hindi na po ninyo sasabihin na meron pa po kaming untrained teacher on literacy and numeracy. Dahil nasa inyo na po lahat ng materials and the assessment to follow and to prepare. Okay. Now, when do you do the readiness assessment? Kailan? Yan na naman ang mga tanong natin. Kailan sisimulan? Okay. The school and the division are required to do a readiness assessment at several points before and after implementation or batches of Elln Digital. So magkakaroon tayo lagi ng readiness assessment before and after each batch of implementation. Naalala niyo po kanina, batch A, batch B, batch C. So may assessment po tayo before and after. Bakit may before and after? Para po malaman natin ano na yun before. At ano pa, yung na-meet natin problem ngayon para sa susunod na batches implementation ay maiwasan na. Diba? At ma-ready na para sa succeeding implementation of batches. First, we'll have the baseline. As you receive the readiness tool, you can have your Readiness Assessment as your baseline. Gagawin na po ninyo yan sa ating workshop. Okay? Number 2, Batch A, pre-implementation right before the first LAC session. Bago magsimula ang unang LAC session, dapat nagkaroon na kayo ng readiness assessment. Batch A, post-implementation right after the final LAC session. Natapos yun na yung Batch A. Module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Meron pa kayong isang batch for implementation. Magkaroon ulit kayo ng assessment before. And then, and so on and so forth for the succeeding implementation or batches. Okay? All questions po, kindly type sa ating comment section. Babalikan po natin mamaya. Ayan. Very important notes. Okay. Ito po yung mga tatandaan natin. If you follow the Elln digital scale-up implementation cycles as suggested, you must do a separate assessment per set of modules. So, one assessment for modules 1 and 2, another assessment for modules 3 and 4, another assessment for module 5. Okay. Bakit nyo gagawin yun? Para po makita natin what went well and what went wrong. So, for the implementation and for the process of continuing the course, ito yung nakita natin problema. Ito yung solusyon natin. Because you always have that readiness assessment. Meron tayong laging assessment na ginagawa. For monitoring also. Diba? Number 2, if you are deviating from the suggested grouping of modules, okay, discuss with your division how your assessment results should be set up and processed. Note that it is very important that you do not mix the assessment for different sets of modules. For example, if you have a school A running modules 1 to 3 and school B doing modules 3 to 4, you should do a separate assessment for each and should not combine the results. The same rule will apply in one school. For example, there's a batch of teachers doing modules 2 and 3, another batch for modules 1 and 3. Likewise, do separate assessments and process results separately. Huwag po natin pagsasabahin. Sabihan niyo po ako kung hindi po niyo susundin yung suggested na grouping of modules for your assessment para hindi po mag-mix up ang mga assessment results. Okay po? Okay po tayo dyan, ha? Ayan. Next. Ayan. So, what are the list of readiness assessment tools or the forms na the school should prepare and the division should also prepare? First, we have the school readiness assessment tool, the division readiness assessment, which is the summary of school readiness. Iba na yan, Sarjon, and then the national implementation summary. Lahat kasi na assessment tool na isasabit nyo sa akin, gagawan ko ng summary, and yung summary na ito, it will be also forwarded to our region. Okay? And of course, our division readiness assessment for the technical assistance provision, ito naman po ang sa atin. Division readiness assessment tool, and it will also be provided and forwarded to our region, and the region will be forwarding it also to the national. Okay? So, konti lang, di ba? School readiness sa inyo, division readiness sa amin, kasama ang inyong sa summary of the school readiness and the summary of the division readiness assessment tool. Yan. Paano ba i-fill out yung school readiness assessment tool na yan? Okay. So, please watch the video tutorial intently and attentively. Okay? So, Rod, can you help me now for the presentation of our school readiness assessment tool? Kasi na-practice ako kanina, hindi po ako makapag-share ng video. Ayan. Parang may kulang sa aking laptop or sa aking medyo lang yung aking hair. Sir Rod, can we help me share and play our
School
school
readiness assessment
assessment
is to determine how many and who among the K-3 teachers in your school are ready for and should be allowed to take the Elln digital course. This tool is designed to guide the school head, assisted by other administrative staff, the ICT coordinator, and K-3 teachers in conducting the school readiness assessment. This tool lists readiness assessment criteria under the 4 primary drivers of Elln digital implementation, as shown in the Elln digital driver diagram: resourcing, administrative support, learner attitudes and practice, and learner support. There are a total of 14 criteria corresponding to the secondary drivers that pertain to K-3 teachers, the LACs, the LAC facilitators, and the school head. Aside from being an assessment tool, the School Readiness Assessment tool will also serve as your tracking and reporting form to be submitted to and summarized by your division. Your goal is to achieve 100% readiness for Elln Digital. The rule is only those K-3 teachers who are ready should be allowed to take Elln Digital. Being ready means that the teachers personally meet and can be provided by the school with the 14 readiness requirements listed in the School Readiness Assessment tool. To be able to use this tool, you must have a spreadsheet program installed in your computer, such as Microsoft Excel. Locate the file with the file name schoolreadinessassessment.xlsx. Open the file. The file has multiple sheets, as you can see in your screen. Each sheet has been labeled. Don't rename or delete any of these sheets. The file will open on the summary sheet. Write what Elln digital modules you are including in your assessment. Then input your school information. As noted here, don't modify any other part of the spreadsheet. The summary sheet will automatically collect information from the other sheets. Your first task is to conduct a baseline assessment. Click on the baseline sheet. On this sheet, the only areas you should edit are the colored cells. The rest are automated. Input the date you are conducting the baseline assessment. Let's say it's September 15, 2019. Input the total number of K-3 teachers in your school. Let's say you have 303 K-3 teachers. Then input the total number of K-3 teachers already trained on Elln. Include in your count only those who will not take Elln Digital again. Let's say you have 54 trained teachers. As you can see, the number of untrained teachers will be computed automatically. You then have to compute the total number of lakhs you need for all your untrained teachers. To do this, divide the total number of untrained teachers by 50. If you recall, according to the DEPED order on lakhs, a lakh can have a maximum number of 15 members, including the lakh facilitator. Since in our example you have 249 untrained teachers, then the number of lakhs needed is 18. The number of lakh facilitators needed will be the same as the number of lakhs. On the leftmost column are listed 4 primary drivers to achieving 100% Elln digital completion: resourcing, administrative support, learner attitudes and practice, and learner support. Under these primary drivers are 14 secondary drivers that serve as our readiness items. Answer all the questions under the second column as accurately as possible. The sheet will then compute for you your readiness rating for the different items. This rating tells you how close you are to 100% readiness on each item. Let's take a look at item 1 under resourcing. It asks, how many of your K-3 teachers have their own copy of the courseware? Let's say your school has been able to provide individual copies of the courseware to all 249 of your untrained K-3 teachers. Let's try another readiness item. Item 2 asks, how many of your K-3 teachers have access to a computer in school and/or at home to study the courseware? Let's say that your school's computer lab can accommodate 15 teachers for 3 hours, 5 times per week. That makes a total of 75 teachers. In addition, 16 teachers say that they prefer to use their computers at home. So that makes a total of 91 teachers with sufficient access to computers to study the Elln digital courseware. Be sure to read the form carefully and input correctly the data requested. For example, item 4 refers to LAC facilitators, not to K-3 teachers. Let's answer the rest of the readiness questions. Under the administrative support driver, there are drop-down options for yes or no. Select the appropriate response. Note that if you input a number that exceeds your total number of teachers or LACs and LAC facilitators needed, the form will alert you with a warning message. The percentage cell will also turn red. For example, if you input 20 in item 14, the cell in its row will turn red because you only need a maximum of 18 LAC facilitators. If you type 18, no warning message will appear and the percentage cell will remain white. Another important feature of the tool is the call out to the division for support. In the 5th column, labeled Need Division Support, you can find drop-down options for yes and no. If your answer is no, you may select no or leave the cell blank. If your answer is yes, the cell will turn red, so the division representative who will review your assessment can easily spot it. You can also include notes for the division in the next column with the heading If Yes, briefly describe what support you need. Once the form is completed, you will see your school readiness rating in the box below the table. Your goal is for this rating to reach 100%. This means that all your K-3 teachers and LAC facilitators are ready for Elln Digital. Another box at the bottom of the sheet also needs to be filled. First, calculate the total number of K-3 teachers ready based on your baseline assessment. How do you calculate this? Let's go through the steps. First, look at all of the items in green. These are the questions pertaining to the school head. If one or more of your responses to these items is no, then none of your teachers are ready. However, if your response to all 4 administrative support questions is yes, then it's possible that all 249 of your teachers are ready. This will depend on your answers to the other readiness items. Next, look at item 7 in orange on venues for LACs. Here we say 12 LACs can be provided with an appropriate venue for all their sessions. But do you have enough fully capacitated facilitators for 12 LACs? Check item 14 in orange. Here we see that you only have 5 facilitators who are fully capacitated. Check item 4 as well, also in orange, if you can provide these 5 LAC facilitators with all the printed course materials. Since your answer is 18, then yes, you can. This means, therefore, that at baseline, you can have 5 LACs running at the same time. Since the maximum membership of a LAC is 14, excluding the LAC facilitator, then the maximum number of K-3 teachers you can provide for is 70. Finally, inspect all the items in blue pertaining to K-3 teachers. Find the lowest response. Here we see that the lowest count is 50 for item 5 on access to storybooks. Remember that the rule is, if a teacher does not have all the requirements for Elln Digital, then he or she should not take the course. Thus, 50 is your total number of K-3 teachers ready at baseline. Don't forget to save your file from time to time so you don't risk losing any data. We're almost done. The final step is to set your school targets for batches A, B, and C based on your baseline readiness assessment. For batch A, you can target the 50 you know are already ready, or you can use the time left before batch A begins the course to make more teachers ready. For example, you can try to procure storybooks for 20 more teachers for a total of 70. Now go to the next sheet called Baseline Work Plan. This work plan is for you to list down your action items and time frame for getting your target number of teachers ready for Elln Digital. Let's assume that 4 teachers can share a set of storybooks. So you can write here, buy 5 sets of storybooks for 20 teachers to share. Then color the area corresponding to your time frame. Since batch A is expected to start in November, you have until the end of October to buy the storybooks. Now let's set the rest of our targets. Decide how you will divide your remaining untrained teachers into batches B and C based on your baseline readiness data and your estimate of your ability to improve on the readiness assessment items. For example, you can decide to put all of your 179 teachers in batch B if you think you can get them all ready by June or July 2020. Or you can divide them equally into 2 batches or devise some other grouping. This is left to your discretion. Now let's go back to the summary sheet. As you can see, the data from the baseline sheet have been encoded automatically. The other sheets in this file are the same as the baseline assessment and the baseline work plan. Please note that you are required to do follow-up readiness assessments before and after an implementation cycle or batch. Let's look at the batch A pre-implementation assessment sheet. You do this assessment right before batch A implementation starts. This will show how much progress you've made since the time you did your baseline assessment in making your target batch A teachers ready to take Elln Digital. Fill up the sheet like you did the baseline sheet, but this time, take into account the progress you've made since you did your baseline assessment. For example, if you were able to buy 4 more sets of storybooks, as you indicated in your baseline work plan, then you should answer 70 in item 5. Answer all the other readiness questions, revisit your targets, and save your file. Remember to keep saving as you work on the sheet. After Batch A is completed, you must conduct another assessment to record your accomplishments against your targets, assess your readiness for Batch B, and plan accordingly. Let's take a look at the sheet for this, called Batch A Post-Implementation. Respond to the readiness items as you did in previous assessments. In the teacher trained row, add the number of teachers who actually completed the course in Batch A to those previously trained. Let's say that of your 70 teachers in Batch A, only 55 completed the course. Add that to the 54 previously trained to get 109 trained teachers. Another consideration is if you have new K-3 teachers coming into your school or old K-3 teachers leaving the school. Adjust your total number of teachers accordingly. Finally, revisit your targets based on your Batch A performance and post-implementation readiness data. To prepare for Batch B implementation, go to the Batch A post-implementation work plan and list all the activities and tasks that you need to accomplish to achieve readiness for all your Batch B teachers. Repeat this cycle of assessments and work planning for Batch B and Batch. This readiness assessment tool is one of your monitoring and evaluation reports.
Ayan. So, it has been displayed in detail in the video yung ating present kanina. Okay, so yun po yung ating school readiness assessment tool na gagamitin po natin for our monitoring of the successful implementation of our digital ELLN. So that readiness assessment tool will help each school and of course in the division for the monitoring and evaluation and for the progress of our implementation. Okay, may mga tanong po ba tayo? After watching the video, so tingnan po natin yung mga katanungan ng ating mga kasama sa field with our sharing for this morning. So, tingnan po natin anong mga tanong. I am reading some of the questions, some of the comments na meron tayo. Good morning. Shared responsibility between parents and the staff. Printing learning materials suited to the child and collaborate with the parents if allowed to visit the learners to do so. I think these are some of the comments kanina sa ating activity on fostering the shared vision within the district and the school. Okay? Input from professional learning communities within the school, online kumustahan with pupils and parents. Okay. From Ma'am Raquel Caneta. Engagement of internal and external stakeholders towards accomplishment of school PPAs. From Ma'am Carla, create a collaborative environment. A welcoming and friendly school environment is essential in setting the context for positive participation. From Ma'am Marichar, having a GC of teachers and parents to update them about the programs and activities. Okay. So, magandang umaga sa lahat. Still watching. Ayan, may tanong. Good morning po, ma'am. Paano po yung mga may brigada webinar po bukas with our TTA? Conflict na po ang schedule. Okay. Huwag po kayong mag-alala. Wala po tayong synchronous session bukas dahil ang ating day 3 at day 4 ay asynchronous activity. Ano po ito? Gagawin nyo na po yung ating baseline assessment. You will be filling out the baseline assessment of our school readiness assessment tool. And then, another workshop will be the teacher's strengths and needs assessment questionnaire. Kasama rin po yon sa ating output. At gagawin ninyo on asynchronous activity natin for day 3 and day 4. And of course, another form for filling out, mamaya, we will discuss that this afternoon, yun po yung mga gagawin ninyo for our day 3 and day 4. Kaya hindi pa tayo makakaroon ng conflict sa schedule. You can still attend your brigada webinar and still do our outputs together with your school heads, with all of your K-3 teachers. You can do it online. Sa mga sarili ninyo. Ayan. Tayo, with our training, asynchronous po tayo for day 3 and day 4. Accomplishment of all outputs po tayo on 3 and 4. But on day 5, we go back on day 5, November 4, for the presentation of some of the outputs and our closing program in the morning. Ayan. Okay po. Doon po ay galing kay Ma'am Tia, literal. Okay. Ganda ng pangalan. Literal na literal. Okay. Do we still have other questions? From Ma'am Elsie, build strong partnership with the internal and external stakeholders. Opo. Still watching from San Manuel, salamat po. From Santo Tomas, salamat. From San Fabian, District 1, salamat po. From Asingan, District 1, maraming salamat. Santo Tomas District, Asingan 1, Maldan 2, Alcala District. Ayan. Include, according to Ma'am Gigi Visperas of Villasisto, include Elln concerns during the presentation of the school report card. Opo. Salamat. Please speak in English. Oh, I'm sorry. Milagros Sandoval. Ay, naka-live stream po pala tayo, kaya may guest. Pasensya na po kung hindi ako naintindihan. Hinahanap ko po ang mga comments and questions kung meron po. Dahil ang ating School Readiness Assessment discussion and School Readiness Assessment 2 is our last topic for this morning. Ayan. Tapos na ako, 11:29. May kasaluhan po ba tayo? Ma'am, can you please share the video presented a while ago for our... Opo, yung mga presentations po, yung mga video tutorials, lahat po yan ilalagay natin sa isang Google Drive. So, hindi nyo na kailangan nyo pumunta doon sa https ll.meet.ly. Nasa Google Drive na po ito lahat at ibibigay namin sa inyo, sa lahat ng mga eskwelahan. All the video tutorials all the forms na kakailanganin po natin. Ma'am, conflict din po sa ating reading literacy, November 3 to 5 po yun. Okay lang, ma'am. Makaka-attend pa po tayo doon sa reading literacy on November 4. Kasi maka-closing lang po tayo in the morning and then presentation of some of the outputs. Magtatanong na lang po ako sa ating mga public schools district supervisors ng mga presenters na isasama po natin sila sa ating StreamYard. How can we avail of the Readiness Assessment tool template? Ma'am Maylene, it will be shared in our Google Drive. Opo, lahat po yan maibibigay sa inyo. Nakalagay po lahat sa Google Drive. Ayan, do we still have other questions? By the way, may attendance po tayo ha. Sir Rod, kindly palabasin na po natin ang ating attendance sa baba, ang ating attendance link upang lahat po na nakadalo sa atin sa umagang ito ay makapag-log in, makapagbigay ng kanilang attendance for the morning session. Ma'am, paano po yung paggawa po ng output per district? Hindi po, per school ang output po natin. Per school po. Kasi wala naman po district readiness assessment. It's a school assessment tool. At ang TSNA, per teacher po ito. Bawat teacher. Opo, isi-share po natin lahat ng mga speaker slides. And to aid you also of your orientation. Kung may mga teachers po kayo na hindi nakasama sa atin, you can have your orientation and pwede po ninyong balikan na panoorin ang bawat video tutorials. Okay, can we have the attendance link now, Sir Rod? In time check, it's already 11:30. So that we can end our morning session. So can I give back the virtual stage now to our very charming Master of Ceremony for today, Ma'am Rechilda Pangilinan Gonzalez. Tama ba? Ma'am Rechilda Gonzalez Pangilinan. Ayan. Tama nito na ako.
Thank you so
Lalagay ko
much,
lahat
Ma'am
sa Google
Annie,
Drive.
for that very, what can I say? It's a very 100% quality discussion about the assessment of our ELLN. And I hope and I guess that all our school heads and all the K-3 teachers will embrace the ELLN digital program. Okay? Pagod na siguro si ma'am talaga. Siya ang woman of the day. So, we will end our morning session for our lunch break. I hope everybody will enjoy your lunch. We'll be back at 2 o'clock or 1:30. Mamani, anong time po tayo? Yes, Sir Rod. Paki-flash daw po yung ating link for the attendance. Wala pa yata time attendance. We learned so much from that. And alam nyo, our K-3 teachers are very lucky because the DepEd is giving so much dahil kayo yung nasa foundation. Because we really wanted our learners to become functionally literate and numerate. Kaya dapat we embrace the program. Okay? Wala pa yung ating link. Ginagawa pa lang siguro ni Sir Rod. Parang naiisip na ng mga school heads saan sila bibili ng mga storybooks na gagamitin, no? For my fellow school heads, don't you worry because we already have discussed such matter with our ADASES and we will be allowed to purchase through our MOOE pero di tayo pwede bumili online dahil di daw pwede yung kanilang mga wala daw official receipt. So, we already have there the link for our attendance for day 2 morning. I hope na mag-attendance kayo but please naman wag namang maglagay ng NA kasi makikita namin kung sino yun. Bibigyan namin ng jacket kapag NA. Kaso wala nang pinamimigay si Kuya Willie. So, sorry na lang. Okay, so please share our link for this morning's attendance and enjoy your meal. Eat well. We'll be back at 1:30. Okay. Bye for now and see you this afternoon. Yes, congratulations, Ma'am Annie. Kahit napagod na pagod siya. Bye everyone. See you later.